Spotlight is proudly sponsored by HEC Media.
Today on Spotlight, we preview the upcoming St. Louis Art Fair. We bet you'll recognize some of the local landscapes this artist has created. Plus, meet a glassblower and find out the symbolism behind his pieces that intertwine. And then W.C. Handy wrote one of the most iconic St. Louis songs, even though he had a terrible time here. But first, here's what you can expect at the upcoming St. Louis Art Fair. It's Sunday and you're watching the multiple Emmy Award-winning Spotlight.
For a first year, for a first of many, what I hope to be many annual events, they've just done a fabulous job. And there's so many interesting artists and some local, which is really neat. And then I can't believe what they brought in from all over the country.
We feel if we are going to have fine art for adults, we also want to have activities for children. It's a time also for the parents and the children to have experiential times together.
It's just a fabulous first-time event. I'm having fun, and it's real exciting that we're going to be doing this on a regular basis.
The St. Louis Art Fair is a cultural institution. It's a juried fine art fair, which means artists from all across the country and internationally apply to become a part of this fine art show. But it's really a celebration of community. The community comes out in force, not only to view and purchase the beautiful artwork that's on display, but also to see one another, to hear wonderful music, eat delicious food, and just have fun with their neighbors. It was 30 years ago that a group of arts-minded community insiders came together to form what would become the St. Louis Art Fair. They wanted to create this celebration of artistic experience here in the St. Louis region, and they wanted to attract artists from all across the country to our town so we could have this wonderful experience here on the streets of downtown Clayton, Missouri. One of the instrumental founders of the St. Louis Art Fair back in 1993 and 1994 was Susan Uchatel. Susan Uchatel was a driving force behind the St. Louis Art Fair's creation, and she is still a force of the organization today. So the St. Louis Art Fair has always been a place where the community comes together, not just for the celebration itself, but to learn more about the arts and to help lift each other up. We ourselves are a nonprofit, and we welcome other artistic nonprofits to our event in order to highlight them and make the community more aware of what we're all doing here in St. Louis to support the arts. We've been working with our friends at HEC TV for a number of years in creating some beautiful features for our exhibiting artists. We've worked with the Regional Arts Commission, the Missouri Arts Council. It's a way to show our attendees that the arts are accessible to all. We have exhibiting artists who have been with us since the very beginning. You might remember some of their names, like Marion Steen, Sam Stang, Jenny Herzog. These are artists that were at some of the very first St. Louis art fairs.
My name is Marion Steen, and I'm an abstract artist. I work predominantly in watercolor, but I do a lot of collage and mixed media work. I like to add strings and sticks and all kinds of things that I find when I'm walking or driving. And I've started adding collage mostly because I wanted dimension to my work. So the collage gives it a little bit of dimension. When I started watercolor years ago, I wanted my watercolors to be different because a lot of people were painting in watercolors and very typical landscapes, and so I wanted to go away from that a little bit. I think the key element that people are drawn to in my work is color. I love color. Sometimes I like to make it soft and quiet and calm, And sometimes I like to have it be very bright and cheerful. I think that color reflects our emotions, and I try to use that in my paintings. The St. Louis Art Fair is absolutely the best venue in the city.
But we also have new, young artists who have only been in the show maybe once or twice or not at all. And we have found that some of our local artists, they want to know how to get their foot in the door. How did they become a part of the St. Louis Art Fair? And we want to be inclusive and involve everyone. So we began the Emerging Artists as Entrepreneurs program in 2010 as a way to introduce the business side of being an art show artist to local regional artists who wanted to learn more.
Hello, my name is Kaori Ishijima. I'm a Japanese calligraphy artist living here in St. Louis, Missouri. I create traditional calligraphy pieces and modern, unique works using classical calligraphy techniques. Calligraphy is the art of writing with a brush, special ink, and handmade paper. Calligraphy is special because it reflects the beauty of the characters, brush strokes, rhythm, and the artist's mental state. It's not just writing, it's also a form of spiritual practice. I think the process of creating it is important. My work is unique because I keep traditional techniques while adding modern elements. My creative style focuses on rhythm and flow, expressing my emotions and thoughts. I make sure each stroke is strong and pay attention to the space around characters, creating a contrast between white and black. I hope you appreciate the beauty of the characters and their meaning. I also hope my works give you a moment of peace and escape from daily life.
We hope to see all of our wonderful art admirers return to the streets of downtown Clayton. And you can find more information at www.stlouisartfair.com.
Later on Spotlight, a look at the art fair through a song. Mark your calendars for the 2024 St. Louis Art Fair, September 6th through the 8th. Get to know the artists and their art before heading out to the fair with HEC Media's Meet the Artist series at youtube.com/Meet the Artists.
I'm Sarah Lawrence. I am a St. Louis-based artist, primarily painter and primarily landscape painting. A lot of my landscape painting is based in plein air, where I go out and set up on location. So I'll do a painting first outdoors on location with my portable easel, and then often I'm working from those plein air studies when I'm in the studio to scale up and make larger paintings. I always enjoyed drawing, anything artistic, crafts. I loved what you could do with paint. It felt like you could create out of totally nothing to create a whole new world. I'm often inspired just by the place that I'm in. Being a St. Louis resident, a lot of that is the public facilities, the public spaces. So a lot of my work is based around the green spaces, the public parks, the greenways, but also the places where community is formed around specific locations, like some of my landmark, iconic locations around St. Louis where there's this shared memory that happens in these spaces where people have momentous moments. They get engaged or married or have significant memories in these shared spaces. And some of that also then overlaps with my alleyway paintings. It's a different kind of community, but it's the neighborhood community, the gatherings of people who live together. I love when people have an initial reaction walking up to a piece and I can see their expression change and experience a real uplift from looking at my pieces. But I hope that my work also reaches a deeper level as people are looking at these paintings and I have a chance to have these conversations. about the significance of community in St. Louis. I know a lot of people walk away with the need to uplift these spaces, to take care of them, to continue to build community.
I'm Scott Hartley, and I do hand-blown art glass. It's molten glass, 2,000 degrees. Everything is done on the end of the blowpipe, and it's all done by hand, so there's no molds or anything like that. Everything is free-form on the end of the blowpipe. So I'd done art since I was a little kid, drawing and painting and things like that, but I really went and watched glass blowing. I used to teach high school biology. My degree was in biology, and I loved science and I loved art, and once I watched glass blowing, I was like, this is almost like the perfect merger of both of them together. I love form and color and all that on the art side, but then there's also a lot of physics, a lot of chemistry involved in the glass, and the physicality of it I just really, really liked. It's pretty wild how it's created, starting from molten glass to where it's finished. And it's very flexible, it's very fluid, it moves and almost breathes when you're working with it. So I try to capture a little bit of that movement and flexibility in the final product, like a snapshot of that, so people can see how flexible and fluid it really is. The intertwined pieces for me, there's a lot of symbolism with that. I mean, every piece I make, when it's a set that go together and there's multiple pieces, they are not leaning on each other. They are literally standing. So they're balanced perfectly, standing alone, but yet they go together as a set. So much like us, we all stand alone, but we're much better when we're together. There's so much going on in this world. It's such a crazy world, but it's time to step back and take a look and kind of take in the whole thing and just to really appreciate color and form and shape and all those things going together to make one unified piece of glass as well.
Stop by the Spotlight booth at the corner of Merrimack and Forsyth at the St. Louis Art Fair, September 6th through the 8th.
HEC Media. Recognized, celebrated, honored time and again for excellence in the industry. Mid-America Emmys, Tellys, Natoas, Auroras, and other awards. HEC Media has been bringing home the hardware for over a decade. Hundreds of nominations and wins, from regional to international levels. Arts and education to author talks, magazine shows and documentaries. Individual craft achievements to overall excellence. Plus so much more. And although doing good work is its own reward, recognition, well, it's nice too. See what all the fuss is about. Find all of the award-winning content at hecmedia.org.
Now we take a quick break from the art fair to bring you this week's History Spotlight, brought to you by HEC Media and the Missouri Historical Society.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jody Sowell, president of the Missouri Historical Society in St. Louis. The song St. Louis Blues is synonymous with St. Louis, but composer W.C. Handy lived here for a very short time. Historian Andrew Wantko explains how his less than stellar time in the city led to one of the most famous compositions in American history.
There have been no shortage of fascinating songs that have featured St. Louis as a theme, but there is one song that is undeniably the most commonly associated song with our city, the St. Louis Blues. The funny part of the story of the St. Louis Blues, though, is that it came from someone who spent just 6 months living in St. Louis and had an absolutely terrible time while he was here. W.C. Handy was a young, aspiring musician from Tennessee, and he realized he had a massive chance at breakthrough success with the 1892 Chicago World's Fair. He set off on the road, but while he was gone, they made a surprise announcement. The fair wasn't quite ready yet, and it would have to be postponed a year. Finding himself alone on the road, he decided he would try his hand in St. Louis, a place where he heard there was ample opportunity for a young musician to make money. When he got here, within weeks, he remembers that he ended up penniless, shirtless, and sleeping on the riverfront beneath the Eads Bridge. He could not find a break into the nightlife and things that were going on here at the time. But it was while he was spending those freezing nights sleeping beneath the Eads Bridge that he had the experience that would later translate into the most famous composition of his lifetime and one of the most famous compositions of American history. One night while he was under the Eads Bridge, he recalls hearing levee workers singing music that he called strange and eerie. It was these one-verse songs that they would repeat over and over and sing along to guitar. While he didn't have a word for what this music was, we would immediately recognize it as the blues today. He went back home to Memphis and traveled around the South and managed to make it as a musician. And by 1914, he was doing much better living back in his home of Memphis, Tennessee. It was then that all of those experiences he had in St. Louis came rushing back to him, and he had the breakthrough idea for a song. He rented a room at a Beale Street hotel for a night, and across the course of a single night, scribbled out the words and music to what became St. Louis Blues. The song was published later that year and instantly became a smash hit. European royalty featured it in their weddings. A division of the Ethiopian army used it as their battle march. This song was a huge international hit, and it became the second most recorded song of the 20th century, behind only Silent Night. So while St. Louis would have no shortage of incredible music to come after W.C. Handy, it was this moment that he had, one of the worst moments of his life in St. Louis, that eventually became one of the most iconic songs to feature our city.
Next week on History Spotlight, we take a look at the unique restaurants that were part of the 1904 World's Fair.
To learn more about the Missouri Historical Society, visit mohistory.org.
With every stroke of the bow, every stroke of the brush, with every stroke of genius, the arts make life in St. Louis richer, not just emotionally, but also economically. In our region, the arts create $869 million a year in economic activity, supporting 12,000 jobs, generating $155 million for state and local governments, with more than 8 million annual arts-related visits. That's more than all St. Louis sporting events combined. Whether in a park, on a street, or a wall, experimental or a classic, the arts deserve our support, because the arts help support us. HEC Media is proud to be our region's home for arts, education, and culture, because in St. Louis, the arts mean business.
Mark your calendars for the 2024 St. Louis Art Fair, September 6th through the 8th. Get to know the artists and their art before heading out to the fair with HEC Media's Meet the Artist series at youtube.com/meettheartists.
My name is Brian Brody. I am a digital collage artist. I'm also a muralist. I feel like I've always been an artist since I was a kid. Like I was the kid in class that was always drawing and sketching when the teacher was talking. So I feel like it's always just been in me. But I didn't really get introduced to the digital side until I got to college. I love the idea of taking different images along with me sketching and drawing and bringing them together. And mainly like two pictures that don't have anything to do with each other. So it just works on natural flow for me. When I first started, it was all Black history. It was me putting influential Black people within my community that have left monumental marks on, humanity. But as I continued to design, it became more personal. It became more therapeutic for me. So I wanted to look for different imageries of Black people who conveyed like the story or the message that I wanted to tell behind each story or each piece. Usually at my base is always the image, depending on the stand or the way that bodies actually flow or the rhythm of the actual person. And from there, as I'm creating, my mind just wanders. It's a process of like therapy. As I'm creating, I'm asking myself questions about what color might show up better to show or make that feeling behind the story that I'm trying to tell. When you do see art, it is an emotional change, and art can actually heal. It can transform your thought process. It can make you want to learn more about yourself or learn more about a different community or more about your own community for the most part. At the end of the day, I believe I want my art to do that same type of thing. Especially when I'm telling the stories about either myself, the dark periods that I grew out of, the healing spaces that I grew in, talking about my community, talking about nature, talking about humanity, talking about finding peace in that by finding some form of like expression, which is my art for me. So I'm hoping that my art would allow somebody else to find their own voice through cooking, painting, drawing, whatever form of expression, dancing, acting, whatever it is.
My name is Ganit Moreno, and I'm a ceramic artist. I guess I always like to work with my hands. I was always attracted to pottery. When I started working with the clay, just something that I really enjoyed doing, and it's really hard to get that skill. It's really hard to get to learn how to throw. For me, pottery is like magic. You know, something that is like an object that is an everyday object and can be so beautiful. And I used to make functional pottery, but now I only make decorative pottery because I like it to be displayed and not in the kitchen cabinet. To me, pots are like sculptures. When I buy pottery from other potters, I sometimes use it, but really I buy it to decorate my house. It's pretty straightforward. I throw the pot on the potter's wheel and I glaze it. Right now I use mainly black pottery, black glazes, and gold luster. For me, the most important thing about the pot is the form. I'm attracted to more classical forms, things from the past, and I'm looking for elegance and simplicity. My goal is to show the beauty of the pot beyond its function. People ask me sometimes, they come to my booth and they ask, what is it for? Because they're so used to look at pottery as something functional. And I say it's just for display. So that's what I want to show, the beauty of the pot.
Hi, I'm Stanley Leonard. I am a woodcut relief printmaker. I draw inspiration from nature and used traditional techniques to create multiple block and reduction cut relief prints of landscapes and wildlife. My whole life I've been drawing animals. I've always loved it. I was glued to the Discovery Channel and National Geographic growing up. Then I went to school for art and they said stop drawing animals, so I did. But then I got out of school for art and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go back to drawing animals. There's just something about the natural world and how everything fits and works together that I absolutely love. We all love these animals and love the way that they interact with their environments, and I think there's something with the human element that we miss some of that connection with nature with all the hustle and bustle that we've got going on, so we're drawn to that. So the first thing I do, I will take a blank block of wood, I will sketch my image on there, and then from there I will carve that into the block. And wherever I leave that surface uncarved or untouched, that is what will get rolled with ink and then pressed onto the sheet of paper, much like a big stamp. And then I will layer colors using multiple wood blocks for different colors, as well as a technique called color reduction printing. And that is where I will print a color. I will print every sheet of paper in the edition with that first color. And then I will go back into that block and carve more away from it, ink it with a different color and print it again. And this is a really cool technique because everything that I do that has color starts with that reductive process. So all of my prints are truly limited edition prints because I can't go back and reprint some of those first colors. So when somebody's looking at my work, I often say nature did it best. I am just trying to capture some of that magic. So when somebody looks at it, I just hope they can feel the sense of wonder that I feel when I look at the animal kingdom and the natural world. And, I just hope people can feel some of that. So I love doing art fairs. It's super fun for people to come out and see my process, especially a process like this, which isn't super common. And I love explaining and showing them all the techniques. So I hope that you come out to the St. Louis Art Fair and see me.
Stop by the Spotlight booth at the corner of Merrimack and Forsyth at the St. Louis Art Fair, September 6th through the 8th.
HEC Media, bringing you culture and community. Find all of HEC's positive programming and award-winning content at hecmedia.org.
For more St. Louis stories, subscribe to the HEC YouTube channel. Connect STL from HEC Media.
Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis.
Next week, we go behind the scenes at the Muni and find out what a digital set designer does. Plus, a free exhibit at the St. Louis Art Museum exploring how one artist interacted with others. Thanks for watching Spotlight. Join us next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on KPLR 11.